Order. Welcome everybody. And we're all going to stand up, pledge allegiance to the flag.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
What's your first one? Good girl.
Greetings to everybody here tonight. We're here for a special town meeting with regards to an ordinance. I'll start out by reading the first part of this, the warrant, and then we're going to do a moderator. So, in the name of the state of Maine, you are hereby required to notify and warn the inhabitants of the town of Hartland and said county qualified to vote in town affairs to meet and assemble at the town office, 21 Elm Street in said town, on Monday, August 20th, 2018 AD at 6 o'clock in the evening, and then and there to act on the following articles. Number 1, to elect the moderator.
I nominate H.E.A.T.
Do I have a second? Okay. Do you have any other nominations?
I nominate John H.E.A.T.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay. Any other nominations?
I move nomination C.
Thank you. Okay. I'm going to need to get a whole bunch of paper to pass out, or we're going to do show of hands. Is that going to be okay? Show of hands?
Yes.
All right. County, I need votes for Annette Gadichat. Everybody raise hands. Voting for a moderator. I need show of hands for Annette Gadichat.
Can we see who she is?
Oh, right here.
We don't know who she is.
I didn't know who she
We
was.
don't know who she is.
She's at every one of our meetings.
Okay. Annette Gadichat is the first nominated and second. Looking for hands for Annette Gadichat right now. So I guess everybody that's doing Annette, please raise your hand again so we can get a count. And I need to show of hands for John H.E.A.T, please.
We need an orange card.
Orange cards.
Down there. You got it anyways. Only 7 to whatever.
19.
Okay. John H.E.A.T is the one who will be moderating tonight.
Thank you, John.
John. Raise your right hand. I state your name.
John H.E.A.T.
Do swear.
Do swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the state so long as I shall continue a citizen thereof. I, John H.E.A.T, do swear that I will faithfully discharge to the best of my abilities and duties incumbent on me as a moderator of this meeting according to the Constitution and the law of the state.
Thank you. You're gonna have to sign that. We did.
We're not paying.
Say that before. Okay. Put your hands meeting over you. This is the warrant. There's Article 2. There's the entire, as it was written in, as the select warrant presented, this is the actual warrant. That's actually done. And then, if you want to entertain asking the assembly if they would like to, by show of hands or by secret ballot, and then partially vote for motion. All right. Here.
Right, stand by that.
Read it like me. Oh, that's a good one. All right. Greetings, in the name of the state of Maine, you are hereby required to notify and warn the inhabitants of the town of Hartland and said county, qualified to vote in town affairs, to meet and assemble at the town office, 21 Elm Street, and said town on Monday, August 20th, 2018 AD, at 6 o'clock in the evening, then and there to act on the following articles. To elect a moderator, we did. Thank you very much. 2, shall an ordinance entitled Town of Hartland Ordinance prohibiting retail marijuana establishments and retail marijuana social clubs in the municipality of Hartland, Maine be enacted. The Town of Hartland Ordinance prohibiting retail marijuana establishment, retail marijuana social clubs in the municipality of Hartland, Maine. Here is the proposed ordinance. Authority. This ordinance is enacted pursuant to the Marijuana Legislation Act, 7 MRSA C417, semicolon, and Municipal Home Rule Authority, Maine Constitution, Article 8, Part 2, and 30-A MRSA 3001, Statute 3001. Section 2, definitions. For purposes of this ordinance, retail marijuana establishments include retail marijuana stores, retail marijuana cultivation facilities, retail marijuana product manufacturing facilities, and retail marijuana testing facilities, and retail marijuana social clubs are defined, set forth in 7 MRSA Statute 2442, I believe that's what that's. Section? Okay, section. Section 3. Prohibition on retail marijuana establishment and retail marijuana social clubs. Retail marijuana establishments including retail marijuana stores, retail marijuana cultivation facilities, retail marijuana product manufacturing facilities, and retail marijuana testing facilities, and retail marijuana social clubs are expressly prohibited in this municipality. No person or organization shall develop or operate a business that engages in retail or wholesale sales of retail marijuana product as defined by 7 MRSA Section 2442. Nothing in this ordinance is intended to prohibit any lawful use, possession, or conduct pursuant to the Maine Medical Use of Marijuana Act 22, MRSA C558-C. Section 4, effective date, duration. This ordinance shall take effect immediately upon enacted by the municipal legislative body unless otherwise provided, and shall remain in effect until it's amended or repealed. Section 5, this ordinance shall take effect immediately upon enactment by the municipal legislative body unless otherwise provided, and shall remain in effect until it's amended or repealed. This ordinance shall be enforced by the municipal officers or their designee. Violations of this ordinance shall be subject to the enforcement and penalty provisions of 30-A MRSA Section 4452. Is there a motion?
Can I make a motion that we do this by secret ballot?
Second.
I make a motion that we accept this ordinance as written.
No. Second.
We have a second on this. Could we have a show of hands? How many?
Which one? There's confusion. Which one are we voting on?
We're voting on your
The accepting it as
accepting
written.
this motion as written. Could we see a show of hands with the orange cards, please? And have a count?
The first motion was the postpone.
I think it's majority. I think it's a majority too. Okay, we'll take it as a majority.
Now I make a motion that we do it by secret ballot.
Second.
Have a vote by secret ballot.
We can. No, no, that was just to accept the motion.
The second motion is read, not to pass.
Right, that was not to pass, that was to accept the motion as read.
Now it's open. Now it's open for conversation.
That's right. That was, yes.
Any discussion?
Any discussion?
Yes. I make a motion, we have a discussion.
Okay. Second, that's second, right?
Second it.
A motion to discuss. Is there any discussion? We're discussing, we're discussing this ordinance, and we would like to, I guess you could entertain an amendment, or you could entertain accepting this motion, moving forward to this. No, this is for the vote.
No, this is a discussion.
This is discussion.
I'll go first, if that's okay.
Yes, you can.
I
Please state
just,
your name.
my name's Debbie Cooper. I just think that any viable business for this town, in my opinion, is part of the answer for our financial situation. I understand there are pot stores in Bangor, Brewer, and they're doing fine, employing people and growers. The growers are doing good, and this is a new thing. Why would we say no to it when perhaps that we could put some of these trailer park drug dealers out of business? Why wouldn't we want something that's gonna be regulated, and there's gonna be rules and regulations, and kids aren't gonna be able to buy it there? And I would think it would be helpful for the community to get rid of some of these drug dealers who aren't legal. So, you know, if we don't grab this opportunity now, some other town's going to, St. Albans, Palmyra. So, it's just me, but I just think it's too bad to let this opportunity go by.
Any more discussion? Please state your name.
My name is Robin McNeil, and the only question that I have is, has the selectmen thought about what we're going to do for law enforcement in the town? The couple of places that Debbie had mentioned, they are cities and they do have police forces.
Right.
We do not. And my concern is that how many times are the state police and the sheriff's department going to come and sit on our doorstep? So I would hope that that would be a consideration of the voters before they vote.
Thank you. Yes, please.
Susan Ackerman, and I have been in the substance use field for 26 years. I know that there's a lot of people that do support medical marijuana and recreational marijuana, and that is absolutely fine. There have been many people that have benefited from the CBDs of marijuana for the medical purposes, and you know, that's a great thing. I think in regards to Hartland, I think it would be quite embarrassing to invite my friends from out of town and say at the pot shop, turn left to my house. I think it would be a disgrace. We already are known as a drug town. We're not known as the lake. We're not known as a wonderful supporting community. We're known as the drug town. And if that comes into effect, I'm afraid that it's just going to reinforce what we're already known for. As far as the local drug houses or drug dealers, they're going to continue whether or not there's a marijuana shop here or not.
Right.
There's no, this isn't going to stop that. You know, I just hope that people would think long-term. There really hasn't been a lot of research done on the facilities being in a small town without law enforcement. I've spoken to Somerset Sheriff officers several times in the past month. They are concerned about it coming into our town because of the high rate of crime that we have currently. So,
Thank you. More discussion? Yes, sir.
Well, I'm Chris Ring. The question I have, or concern I have, is that this...
They can't hear you in this room, Mr. Ring.
Okay.
I don't know.
All right.
Would you mind standing? Yeah.
Sure, I would, excuse me, sir, sorry. So this ordinance is written so it doesn't sunset after a period of time. Right now, we're voting on prohibiting something that is not really known as to what it actually will be. The state hasn't written their regulations. I understand we're saying no to all shops. I think that it's hard, I think, in a vacuum to say yes or no to this. I just think it would be better if it's sunset and in 2 years or 3 years, 4 years, when we understand what the impacts are, that it can be looked at that point. I agree that it would be great to have any viable business in town. We certainly don't want negative impacts with a viable business in town. So I just, we've asked to consider a sunset date.
Thank you, Mr. Reed. Any other questions? Any other comments? Yes, sir.
Most of you know me, my name is Dick Tucker, I'm an attorney, so is Chris. I'm not a marijuana law attorney, but my son-in-law is. This statute is unnecessary. The way the law is written in Maine right now is the only way a town can have a medical marijuana dispensary in their community is if they vote to authorize it. There is no need to prohibit it, it's already prohibited by state law.
But this is recreation. Oh, you're getting to that, okay.
Local authorization, this is LD 1719, vetoed by the governor, passed by the legislature in May. Local authorization, that's the effective date. Local authorization of marijuana establishments within municipalities. A person seeking to operate a marijuana establishment may not request local authorization, and a municipality may not accept that person's request unless the legislative body of the municipality has voted to adopt a new ordinance or amend an existing ordinance or approve a warrant allowing the marijuana establishment. So they're already prohibited by law. This legislation is unnecessary. Social clubs, I probably agree with the social club thing, but there is no allowance for social clubs in Maine. They're already banned. There's nothing in the law to allow a social club. And to go along with Chris's point, without anybody doing any research or reading the statute or seeing what's out there, it seems to me, if we just wait and see what happens, they can't open or get a license to open a dispensary in this town unless we have a piece of legislation, an ordinance that says it's okay. We don't have to prohibit it. The law already prohibits it unless we authorize it. As far as social clubs, they're already not allowed under Maine state law. There is no license for a social club. And so that's the state of the law. We don't need an ordinance because right now it's already prohibited by law.
But this has manufacturing facilities.
That's all the licenses. You cannot allow it, you cannot have one unless there's a municipality already had an ordinance allowing it, or they adopt a new one allowing it. All the licenses are banned unless you allow it.
But this is not illegal. But this will not be illegal for us.
Well, it's unnecessary. And then when you see St. Albans and Palmyra and Newport and whatever, and the parked cars like Walmart, then you've got to undo this. And then, by then, that's going to take another long time. It's completely unnecessary according to the status of Maine law right now.
Yes, we investigated this, and yes, the select people have decided, yes, it isn't necessary. We want the people of the community to decide. We don't want 3 people to sign a permit for retail marijuana. We want the people to tell us and express what they want and what they feel this town needs. And that's why we called meeting. And yes, Mr. Tucker was right by saying, no, it's not necessary. We don't need this ordinance. But this ordinance is just an insurance policy until we change, and we can change companies. If all of a sudden we decide we want to have growers and manufacturers and so on and so forth, yes, we can come back and let the people choose what they want for the community. And that's basically why we're having this meeting. Yes, he's right, we don't need it. We want it. We want people's input. We want people to express themselves and let us know what they feel this community can benefit from.
My question was that when Mr. Tucker got up and said that we don't need this ordinance because the state says that it's illegal, then all of a sudden in a month or 2 months or 6 months from now, the state changes their tune. We've already got something in place, so we don't have to reinvent the wheel.
So if you guys wanted our opinion and you already knew that you didn't need this, I would think that you would have written it so that we do accept marijuana. And that way we can vote on that. Because
This is how.
I would think we could make a motion that we change the wording on the ordinance that says that we do accept marijuana.
Yes.
I think it was valuable to leave it as a simple yes or no. Oh, my name is Stacy Halford. I think it's valuable to leave it as a simple yes or no. And whether or not we want something, we can always change it. That's been done many times in this town. But keeping things simple yes or no has a huge value. I will speak with any of you and have coffee with any of you. I don't care which way you vote on this issue tonight. That will not change my speaking to you or whatever. But it is very easy for people to get confused. And how often do we hear about referendums? People say, well, I didn't understand I was supposed to vote no. Keeping things purely simple, I commend the three of them for keeping it purely simple. Yes, are we open to having this type of facility in the town of Hartland? Or no, this is not a viable business venture direction we want to go at the time, and it's open to be able to change. It's a simple yes or no vote.
But that's not how it is.
She just said it
A
backwards.
no is going to mean yes, and a yes is going to mean no. So it's
Right.
already-
That's the way I read it too.
So it's written to do
A
things.
yes vote says, yes, we do want an ordinance.
No,
Yes, we do want an
Voting
ordinance.
on the ordinance.
Yes, we do want an ordinance. Yes, we do want an ordinance.
yes, we do not.
Right.
If I vote yes, it means that an ordinance will pass, and I will not be allowed to
Is a
come out,
yes.
correct?
Okay, right.
Right,
Okay, she stated it.
No.
She stated it back.
right.
And we allow, so
Allows
yes
to
on
stand.
So if you want yes on marijuana, you have to say no.
Correct, right.
So
No,
that's
it's this,
It's making it too confusing.
most people understand yes or no. Yes, do we want to pass the ordinance, or no, we do not want to pass it. All I was saying,
But that's
yes.
not what you said in the first place.
I thought it was. I thought it was saying, other people agree with me in the back that they took it that I was being yes to pass the ordinance or no. So, yes, I commend them for doing it simply yes, no.
You vote yes if you do not want to allow,
Now we're all
no if you want to.
It's backwards.
Yes passes the ordinance. The ordinance is against it. Yes means no.
You voted against. Number 3, and here no person shall be able to do business. So let's say you don't want to pass it. You have to say yes to say no. You have to say no to say yes. My biggest concern is that K2 killed those 11 kids last week. They all coming out of the same batch and then doped up with this K2 stuff. It's deadly. And it's been around since 1983. It was used for medical marijuana.
She had a question that didn't pertain, but I just want to clarify, this is for recreational use of marijuana, it's not for medical use of marijuana.
Move the motion.
Second.
Motion to move. Question, second. Okay.
All in favor?
Move the motion, let's vote.
Yes,
All in favor?
all in favor?
Vote for it.
Vote to close.
That's the motion.
Yeah, vote to close the public comment.
Yes.
Stop.
We're moving to the vote.
Yes, we are. And we had a motion to vote a secret ballot. Did we have a second on that?
Second, I seconded it.
Second. We need need a vote on, do we want to have a secret ballot, or do you want to show your orange cards? That was just the end of discussion.
You gotta make that clear.
Only motion is by showing
You gotta make
hands.
sure it's clear.
Come down to the vote, it's supposed to be a secret. Unless they vote to have show of hands. And they're doing this backwards.
Well, there is the other
That's what it means, right? You need,
Well-
to move the question means to stop.
Move the question means stop the discussion and go to the vote.
I believe we voted. I believe that we voted to end discussion.
We
Is
moved
that
the,
understood?
we moved the question, it was seconded, and we voted to go to the
End
vote.
the discussion.
That wasn't clear.
Yes.
Move it on. It wasn't clear.
I'm sorry, Madam Clerk. Okay. Now, do we have a motion to call, no.
We have a motion.
We have a motion for a secret ballot, we have a second for the secret ballot.
Now we need a vote.
Now we need a vote on a secret ballot.
Yes means paper.
Yes means,
Paper, no means orange card.
okay, yes.
Well, this is paper.
Well, no, I mean, I want a secret ballot. Secret ballot.
Yes means secret, let me
Yes
word
means.
this. A yes means a secret ballot by show of hands, and a yes means a secret ballot. A show of hands of, well, we'll do the yes first.
A yes to the motion means
Yes
you're
to
gonna
the
have a
motion
secret
for
ballot.
secret ballot. Show your orange cards, please. For a secret ballot.
You get out here. Anybody want to see that?
I got 10 out here.
I have 8 in here.
There's 94 people signed in.
Okay. All,
Opposed? All opposed to a secret
all
ballot?
opposed to a secret ballot. Okay,
Okay.
it's going to be a show of orange cards.
First, we need a motion.
We need a motion to call the question.
I make a
It's
motion
already
that
been
we
done.
vote on the ordinance as written.
I second.
That was already done.
Motion, we have a second. Okay, we're going to show our orange cards. All in favor? All in favor of accepting the ordinance as written? Show your orange cards, please.
Hold them up, because I gotta start counting from the back forward.
Accepted as written.
That was already done earlier. She made a motion back then a long time ago.
15.
She's got the count. Unless you're in.
All opposed to accepting this ordinance as written?
All opposed to accepting it?
All opposed, correct?
Oh my God.
Hold them up.
Okay, the ordinance passes.
No, it
63
didn't
to
pass.
21, the ordinance passes as written.
It didn't pass. He only voted to accept the wording. Oh, okay,
No, we didn't, no.
never mind.
like to apologize for underestimating the turnout. We should have found a larger space, and that was not looking forward enough.
We don't know.
I thought it was when we were doing the wedding. But what would you just said?
Meeting is adjourned. Thank you.
Yeah.